is up, my ninjas? This is Strident, and I am back with my first review from the new house. After a seriously tough search, we finally found Sergeant Stalker. Finally. So I'm going to bring you a review of the 30th anniversary G.I. Joe Pursuit of Cobra, Sergeant Stalker. Okay, so right off the bat, you notice that this is a well done figure, a really well thought out reuse of parts from a previous figure. And that figure being the Pursuit of Cobra Snake Eyes version 3, I want to say. Here's his information card and his weapons. You can pause that if you want to read all that information, because you know how we do here. We focus on the figure. The figure itself has immaculate paint job. The eyes are well done. The mustache and his hair, everything is just well painted. The sculpt is top notch. But like I said, when you get up close on the figure, you can tell, if you have him and if you are a collector, that there's a reuse of the Snake Eyes Pursuit of Cobra. To me, it's the best Snake Eyes in the Pursuit of Cobra line. Everything down to the shirt with the ribbed texture going on there, and the head, I think, is a reuse of the G.I. Joe Resolute Stalker, which I don't have a problem with. I really like that design, but everything down to the Hush Puppy pistol and the combat knife, it's 100% the Snake Eyes figure. But in this case, I don't have a big issue with it, because Stalker's design was always simple, and it kind of lends itself to this kind of color scheme and this kind of design. It feels like if you took the web gear off, you would have basically the Stalker figure you had back in the day with, little modern tooling to them, and I really like that. Like I said, these Joes have ridiculous detail on it, so I can only say it so much. I like the addition of the machete. Stalker looks like he'd be at home in the jungle, and I don't mean that as in, because he's black. I just mean weaponry, his costume, just, I don't know, reminds me of something out of Predator. Anyway, like I said, here's a comparison to the Snake Eyes that I was talking about. I think this is the third Snake Eyes from Pursuit of Cobra, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, you can see same upper body, same lower body, same knife and the Hush Puppy holster, same silencer, same pockets, knee pads, everything is the same. They just change the colors of the mold, which in this case, it makes sense, because it feels like this is the kind of gear someone in this field wearing that armor, this is what they'd be wearing. It doesn't feel like it doesn't fit. So I have, less of a problem with it here than I have in the past. A lot of people, I noticed when I watched reviews, no one mentioned that the bodies were the same. There actually are a couple figures that use the majority of parts from this Snake Eyes figure, and the Cobra Trooper is one of them, and of course he's one of them. And actually, I think was it the Cobra Vipers? I could be wrong on that one, but anyway, this is one time where Hasbro reused parts and it works, and it's cool for a Ranger, like so, because Beachhead looks hardcore, and you're supposed to believe Beachhead is just 100% unstoppable to some degree, whereas Stalker's not supposed to look it, he just is it. You know what I mean? I hate this armored knife the anti-armor knife that they gave him with the huge peg. I think it fits better with Shadow Tracker, which is who they packaged this with the first time. So I'm just going to give that one the Shadow Tracker, so I can have, Shadow Tracker fighting with two of them. I think that, for Stalker, it would work better if he just had his machete. It just looks more tactical and more like something he would use. The peg on this thing just makes it look stupid in his hands, you know? Like, look at that peg. It's just a little too much for the type of figure and for the detail on the figure and for the realistic feel that this figure and many of the figures in this line are going for, which is something that I'm not completely on board with, but in some cases I am. If you've noticed, the Pursuit of Cobra line is trying to go for the super realistic approach, almost like what the 12-inch figures would go with. But G.I. Joe was always kind of sci-fi. So I prefer the more imaginative approach with the designs for the Joes, but just base them on, you know, real military gear and, you know, everything else. But, you know, and then Cobra is where you go off and go crazy. But I've explained this before. Anyway, like I said, he looks way better with his machete. Also, I love the submachine gun, the 80s submachine gun. That just works for me. And I think that was the machine gun that came with the original Stalker, which I never had. I always thought Stalker was a cool character, though, because he came from a time where this the racism wasn't so blatant, you know, because a lot of our old cartoons, you know, Cops, Transformers, G.I. Joe, He-Man, they all had black characters in there, and a lot of the black characters were kind of prominently featured, you know. Stalker wasn't so prominent, but Roadblock was. And even though Roadblock was a walking joke back then, being a parody of Dolomite, you know, still, he was there. So we always thought it was cool that Stalker existed, and I'm glad we got a figure of him that, you know, is on par with the other figures. Now, his articulation is amazing because, like the other figures in the line, it allows him to do things he needs to be able to do, like look down the barrel of his gun. You can put him in poses like, you know, about to grab his machete, and you know, just stuff that looks like something a character like this would be doing. Once again, though, I gotta, you know, give props to the paint job on this figure. I mean, you see how so many times I'm going back over the detail, especially on the web gear, and you're just like, buckles are painted, clips are painted, you know, there's different colored pockets, and, you know, it's crazy. Tack pouches and things. It's like somebody had OCD about painting this figure, and they did a wonderful job with it. The hair. I remember people complaining about, you know, Stalker's got dreads now. I don't have a problem with it. It gives him individuality, you know. And I've always felt like, you know, you want to go crazy with, you know, black person's hair, give him dreads of some sort. And here they did it, and it works to me. You know, people forget that the Joes are the superheroic versions of whatever military distinction there is for, you know, each character, whatever military specialty there is for each character, you know, so they can kind of have their own details and their own parts and, you know, look fancier than the real deal, because they're not the real deal anymore. They're above the real deal. Once again, here's a comparison so you guys can see, you know, another time, you know, close up. That's what's going on. Like I said, well done figure. Easily I'd say a 9 out of 10, and that's only because they reused parts. And I know a lot of Joes are like that, but for me, I want more original sculpts. But if you see this figure, pick him up. You know, I went through all that trouble trying to find him because I didn't want to pay the $20 I've been seeing him online for. I was like, you know, it's a brand new figure. I should be able to find him in the store. Finally, we did. And here he is. You know, it's a $6.99 figure. If you can find him, get him. You won't be sorry. You'll enjoy it. Here he is with the team, looking, you know, thorough as ever. And that's my review pretty much. So hit me up on my website and check me out for more reviews. All right, people. Peace.